So the mystery of God is, and God's will is no more. It's simply know me. And now we can begin to align ourselves with that simple alignment to know God. For example, God's will is not death, but rather that we know God as life. There's no need for us to doubt as to whether God's will is for us to live or to die or to be healed. We know God as life. The life of God transcends all earthly experiences. When we come to know God, there is no death. The body, of course, may shed, but the pure and perfect life of God remains. And then we go on that soul journey into the light. God's will for us is not that we live in a certain place, but that we know that wherever we are, God is. God is there. In the past, of course, I've had several occasions to move across the country to take other jobs, and I always ask, well, is this God's will? However, now, knowing this deeper metaphysical level, I would approach it very differently. So it really doesn't matter to God where we are up on earth or wherever we go, because we're always in the presence of God, no matter where we're located. Now, having this new knowledge and this new approach to God's will, of course, doesn't disallow us from having a sense of guidance about living in another place. We still listen to that guidance within us. But our guidance still is knowing that wherever we go, God is. So it doesn't matter whether we live on the West Coast or on the East Coast. It doesn't matter if we live in the South or if we live in the North. It doesn't matter if we live in a foreign country. It doesn't matter if we decide to live on a cruise ship and be out in the ocean. God is there. So wherever we are, God is. God's will is not that we have earthly riches. Rather, it is to know God as our source, like we sang today. God is our source. Now, prosperity is so important to all of us. And we all want to be able to provide for ourselves and for our families. And what we're actually seeking is security. We believe that this security is achieved by having enough money to pay our bills, to pay for our secure housing. And we wonder if it's God's will that we be employed by a certain company with a huge salary that will enable us finally to feel secure. But we know at a deep metaphysical level that such things are not the will of God. It's simply that we know God as our source. So don't ever think that God is going to pull some strings, because there isn't God up there pulling strings in the sky, and that we'll get this huge raise which will pay the bills and make us feel more secure, because we know that God doesn't work in that way. However, again, it doesn't mean that we're to live in lack and limitation for any good thing. You see, the universe has devised a simple way for us to attract our good to us. And this is how it is. Our thoughts need to manifest first as feelings of security. No matter what's going on around us. Ooh, that's a difficult thing sometimes to do. It's all is well. And then, as you center yourself, there will be prospering ideas that come to you. And keep those feelings going, keep those thoughts going, and there will be a job opportunity. And then an increase in salary. Our function is so simple. It's to know God as our source, and to know and to feel always that all is well. And I asked permission from this person if it would be okay to use her for an example. And I'd like to use Linda Griffith for an example. She has been practicing principle since she's been here well over a year and coming to Course in Miracles and just practicing. And we know that she got out of prison. She wasn't in prison, but she was working in the prison. And she wanted out so badly. It was just draining her energy. We know that she was a light while she was there, and that was where she was supposed to be. But we kept holding her in the light and saying, something is going to come along. We just know it. We just know it is, And she kept holding the light too. And sometimes she'd cry with us and we'd cry with her and we'd go, it's going to be okay. All is well. And guess what? She kept those prospering ideas. She kept that in the light. And lo and behold, she's got a full-time job now, more money and everything, and we're just so happy. It is temporarily at present, but we know all is well, and we know great things are even working out as we speak. Such a good example, Linda. Bless you. You're an inspiration to us. I like to see people practicing principle and seeing that all is well in the manifestation. And God's will for us is not that we have a particular loving human relationship. It's rather that we know God as love. When we really know God, and we know God is love, then there will be loving relationships that begin to abound all around us. Sometimes we attempt to find love in the arms of another, but it's really like that old country song, we're looking for love in all the wrong places. And once we discover God's love that is within us, when we begin to feel worthy and we feel love within ourselves, then we can not look out there to others to fill that void that may be within us, at the moment. We become ready, willing, and worthy. And when we know God is love, we will begin to express that love that we feel within ourselves. It's just so natural. And then those loving relationships will begin to manifest in our life because we are a magnet for divine love. So today, let us all begin this process, this deeper level of understanding God's will and to make it active in our lives. And our purpose is really so simple now. And all activities will begin to flow forth from our divine purpose. There's no more questioning about whether some happening is God's will in our life. The events of our life now will be accepted without resistance, without reservation, and we'll just go about the business of knowing God. And that will become the driving force in our life, and knowing that all is well. And so your focus will then to have that closer daily walk with God and to know God as one. Namaste.